gives magic rabies to everybody in a 10-mile radius, or 16 kilometers for those of you still using outdated barbaric systems like metric.
You want to hear something really barbaric? How's it going, people? Jack here with another reactions. Today I'll be checking out a review from SsethTzeentach on Heroes of Might and Magic 3. Huge fan of the franchise, however, I must be honest and say that I haven't really played this one, the third one as well as the first, because, well, justification here, because I like anecdotes and stories. In 2015, which is where I discovered this, I was going to my first university. I had like yellow hair back then. Anyways, I dropped out of my first university because it wasn't something for me. Back then, I went to the Danish Technological University, or University of Technology. We call it DTU, so that's why I was trying to match the initials. We used to have some of the greatest LAN parties in the country, although we were really known for being extremely drunk. I mean, it's a Danish cultural thing, which is not really something that we should be proud of, even when we have an Oscar-winning movie starring Mads Mikkelsen called Drunk. Yeah, we know our status. Partaking in one of such LAN parties, I heard the shout of one of the greatest memes out there, like, good luck, I'm behind like 10,000 skeleton leeches, or power leeches, that's what they're called. Yeah, because the cap, I think, was 9,999. Loved it, and I checked it out during the LAN party. It played like 5 hours or so. It was great. It was great. Unfortunately, that wasn't the one that caught my attention. I got more into it during the Ubisoft acquisition and went back to check out the second and fourth entry. This story said though, let us get into the video.
Hey people, Seth here. Today, I'll be reviewing Heroes of Might and Magic 3.
Wait, what? That's the Naruto guy. What's his name again?
Do you have any special talent?
Oh my god. My god.
Reviewing Heroes of Might and Magic 3
Stupid.
is a difficult request. While you have good games with strong follow,
That was the intro theme. Even I remember that one.
While you have good games with strong followings, you also have exceptional games with fanatical followings. Fans of Heroes 3 applaud the game with a religious zeal, and rightly so, for much like a well-oiled, silky-skinned, and voluptuous temple priestess, you can play her for months, years, and still not master her. In every crease and fold of her soft assets, there's always more to learn and explore, new strategies to test the limits of her depth and design. In other words, it's a really fucking good game, more than a decade old.
I'm just going to replace this with the cat from Animal Crossing, if that's okay with you guys.
More than a decade old, Heroes 3 still shines as a gorgeous, melodious, and tactically rich turn-based strategy game. Of course, when I refer to Heroes 3, I mean the complete edition, almost every Slav and their grandmother own by now. Not the HD edition, which contains neither of the expansions and has every texture in the game sharpened and airbrushed by underpaid interns, making every monster in the game look like some bootleg Mugen character. Although, to be fair, most of the mods out there for Heroes 3 also look like bootleg Mugen characters. The concept of the game is ridiculously simple. You can play as any one of 9 different... You can play as any one of 8 viable factions, represented by different towns. While you pick your starting faction...
Come on! Inferno is Armageddon for days.
You can always conquer other towns and use their units as well. Each town is unique in its own strengths and weaknesses, although some towns have more weaknesses than others, with each town capable of producing 7 different tiers of units, ranging for example from lowly troglodytes to red and black dragons for the dungeon town, or skeletons 2 bigger skeletons for the Necropolis. These cities get plastered and spread through the game world, represented by a common map area shared by all players. If you've built the appropriate unit dwelling, a town will offer you units to recruit, which replenish at the start of each week. Unless there's a plague, in which case everybody dies. Bizarrely, this also includes the undead. Remember to keep your heaters on in the winter, as pneumonia is still a leading cause of death among the elderly, including liches and power liches. Each turn you take on the map counts as
it's
one
factually
day,
correct.
meaning every 7 days a new week begins, and everyone's army expands, if they can afford it.
Excuse me, every 7 days a new... Yes, Seth, that's how it works.
You often start scenarios and campaigns with a chosen or given hero, each with unique abilities that can be exploited to victory. These act as generals under your direct control, with a limited number of map moves to spend per turn. Each leader can hold 7 stacks of troops, arranged by position and formation, making up their army. A stack visually represents the number of a certain unit, which influences the outcome of combat. Losing all your stacks means defeat for your hero. Heroes can't die, but losing a fight will usually make them run off and join the enemy due to your incompetence as a leader.
Yeah.
All this information finally makes sense when we get to the combat, which is also turn-based and divided in rounds, and initiated by players by robbing dwarven or Polish banks, or moving next to enemy heroes on the map. Each round, every monster on the battlefield gets a turn to move, attack, use abilities, wait, or defend, and that's the simple gist of it. When a stack attacks another, their stats are multiplied by the number of attacking creatures. Pretty simple shit, right? So if level 18 Craghack with Expert Offense attacks level 18 Tazar's 4 Chaos Hydras with his 5 Ancient Behemoths, who we can only assume has Expert Armorer, how much damage would that be? Easy. We just balance.
I was about to say a lot, and then he goes with the quadratic equation.
This quadratic equation, plug in our expression coefficients into this algebraic expression, do a linear regression, find the acute angle in this triangle, and solve for x. Okay, real talk. Any mouth-breathing polygon journalist can say this gay generic shit. You know enough about the game.
Yeah.
Let me try and convey
It's
why
simple.
it's so good. Your leaders can't directly intervene in combat, but their stats transfer to units, their artifacts are bullshit ridiculous, and their spells are some insane shit. And that's why the game is so damn enjoyable. Each town can build mages guilds to research random spells of increasingly higher level. Sometimes you get hot garbage like Hypnotize, which lets you waste your mana and fumble your turn, and other times you get nice stuff like Armageddon. Armageddon detonates a nuclear bomb on the battlefield, scorching everyone on it for massive damage.
The best spell.
Except there's a few troops out there who are immune to fire damage, or spells in general. A fun tactic, as in not fun for anyone else, is taking several spicy boys with your hero and running straight into enemy lines. The larger their army is, the better. Cast Armageddon, destroy most of his army, and retreat. Rebuy your hero at the tavern and do the exact same thing every turn.
See, it's a strategy that works wonders. Armageddons for days.
At most, you spend a few thousand gold on this strategy.
It's a lousy one. It's like the equivalent of like crouching and just kicking in Street Fighter, you know. But I mean, Heroes of Might and Magic is a type of game that you play just to relax, sitting comfortably in your sofa with your laptop on your lap and just spamming one spell.
Strategy, while your enemy is incurring maybe 20, 30,000 gold worth of damages each time your suicide bomber rushes them. Berserk is also a fun spell. It turns any enemy rabid, attacking whoever's closest, be it friend or foe. With expert fire magic, Berserk becomes even more balanced, since it gives magic rabies to everybody in a 10-mile radius, or 16 kilometers for those of you still using outdated barbaric systems like metric. It's particularly enjoyable watching your friend's army tear itself in half without even lifting a finger. In many ways, Heroes 3 is the torture porn of turn-based strategy.
Can I make a little statement here? You want to hear something really barbaric? It's the reason as to why the metric system never was universal. So I try to make it quick. It was created by 2 French mathematicians, right? Who did it for like a period of seven years by observing like the stars and calculating the distance from end to end of France yeah, like a cross-country thing. And by doing so, they got the like the course of the distance of the Earth. Timed that by 4 got 40,000 kilometer as the circumference. And it wasn't exact because when you type that in, of course, you're going to get a different number because there's some decimals that at least one of them decided not to account for because they had spent 7 years doing this thing, and he was like, I'm not about to lose all the funding that we got because of some bloody decimals. And then some French dude called Napoleon Bonaparte shows up, and because he's very popular amongst the populi who refuses to adopt the new system, he's like, nah, we're not going to do it. I think that is most likely the reason as to why Britain didn't adapt to the same system and waited for quite a long time to do it, and also the French in the Americas also didn't want to do it. So yeah, speaking of barbaric, Napoleon Bonaparte may have been the reason as to why that never happened. But this is like an oversimplification of the facts. Please fact check it yourself.
Then there's the issue of the undead, which is one of my favorite towns, by the way. If you let Necropolis breathe, it will shit down your neck by late game. That's because every time they fight, necromancy revives most units back as skeletons, and if they can assemble a simple as seen on TV artifact, just pull the plug. Quit. Leave. Not sure if your opponent has assembled a Cloak of the Undead King? Don't worry, I have a foolproof method of finding out. Mouse over his stack of power liches in combat. Note down the number. If it's somewhere between several 100,000, or if a text box is flickering and glitching out, he probably has it assembled. Let me explain. Normally, necromancy revives only skeletons, but with a Cloak of a balanced king, you
Power
revive
liches.
liches
Wait,
instead.
whoa. Did I see that correctly? I thought the limit was 9k or 10k. I stand corrected. Holy shit. It does not have an upper limit. Okay, that's how we abuse the game. Okay, now I understand.
Balanced king, you revive liches instead. And liches are level 5 Necropolis shooters, and your opponent has billions of them. He has so many that if he ever tries to split the stacks in his inventory, his game will crash. Most spells get better by leveling up your respective school of magic. Often, expert level means you affect every possible target for the spell. At expert earth magic, the slow spell soaks every enemy in shit and reduces their movement speed to a crawl. Let's say for a rampart dwarf, you'll need 14 turns to reach your army, provided there's no boulders or small branches in the way. The same applies to haste. At expert air magic, every one of your units becomes a high velocity whirlwind of fucking shit up. If you've got a black dragon, or even better, a phoenix in your party, this often means you win before the enemy can move a single unit. Positioning and coordination on the map are vital skills to win the game. That is, unless you have expert level town portal, which lets your hero enter any friendly town instantly. This usually makes it impossible to lose towns, as a single hero can simultaneously defend them all alone. That is, unless the enemy can cast Dimension Door, which lets them
the spell that I was thinking about.
Teleport to any location inside of their hero. At expert level, this can be cast 4 fucking times per day, effectively letting a hero with large pools of mana to cover 5 days worth of travel in one, the hero's free equivalent of an intercontinental ballistic missile. Alternatively, if you don't care about strategy or tactics, just recruit somebody with diplomacy, level it up to expert, and approach any stack of rape dragons. Somehow, your poetic way with words will convince them to join you, and then proceed to decimate the continent with your newfound rape dragons.
Hold on. That's the Stellaris method. Okay. But when I watched the oh my god, Endless Space review from Sseth last time, right? I was searching through Steam to get my hands on it, and then I bought Stellaris along with it. Paradox. Wow, it's a complex game. There's a lot going on. I do like some management stuff, but I think that one's just a little bit too overwhelming for me. But I was trying to play in like a pacifist route, so to speak, and engage in diplomacy and like plus xenophile, all that shit. And there's like the amount of people that you can convince to join your cause and just fuck shit up afterwards is pretty cool. And yeah, that's why I call this distillery's method.
Even better, the added strength of the rape dragons helps convince other ludicrously powerful neutral monsters to join you as well, diminishing the quality of your current game as you snowball straight to victory. If all those tactics seem unbalanced, that's the point. The game thrives on you straining its mechanics, rewarding experimentation, and punishing established conventions. There's a reason this game has its own published version of Sun Tzu's Art of War. Winning and victory is about meticulously knowing every intricacy of the game, while making sure your bullshit strategy will beat your opponent's bullshit strategy. Heroes Free is a great game, and still looks beautiful to this day, thanks to its hand-sprited graphics. Heroes Free aged better than most of the girls I knew from high school. Then again, heroin is one hell of a drug. The musical score and sound work is also fantastic, and I've got it installed on every computer I ever owned. It's incredibly pleasant in its atmosphere, and a complete joy to play. The best game to cozy up to in a warm blanket with a hot mug of coffee in early spring. The very definition of comfy. That is, unless you're playing multiplayer. Then it's a dumpster fire of hot garbage. The game is trash, unbalanced dog shit. Who the fuck is playing Necropolis? Do you want to be kicked out of the house? Heroes Free. It's
the cat boy.
And this review generously paid for by the Merchants Guild. As always, more content to come, so stay tuned.
In one video, he managed to fit not only pneumonia, China, and also Corona into it. And this is made in 2018. But that said, thank you guys for checking out this reaction. As always, please do go and subscribe to SsethTzeentach and like this video on this channel. And of course, if you like this one, give the video a like and see you guys in the next one. Bye.